Hey, welcome back to the Talking to Teens show. And today we are going to talk to the ladies. All right. But hey, of course, guys, you can definitely listen in because you know what? You're going to want to know this. So, ladies, we're going to talk about why some of you feel the need to have a boyfriend or that you need to have a boyfriend. And I know I kind of maybe hit a little bit on this on a previous show. And you know what? But that's okay. All right. Because I just really feel like I need to talk about this. So guess what? I'm going to. All right. So here we go. The reason why, okay, I'm going to give you some different reasons here why girls feel like they need a boyfriend. So definitely hear how I'm stressing need a boyfriend and even want a boyfriend. So really those two things are not necessarily the same thing. So you need a boyfriend because what? Because I don't want to be alone. And I'm going to have to say that this is probably one of the number one reasons right here, what I'm about to say. And you might already be saying it with me. So, or thinking it, well, because everyone else has one and you don't want to be left out. So you're thinking, well, what's wrong with that, Shauna? You know what? Everybody has a boyfriend, so why should I not have a boyfriend? What about me? What about my feelings? Well, I'm glad you asked that too. Okay, because actually I'm gonna go into that a little bit later, okay? So you just keep listening, keep watching here. So you want a boyfriend, you need a boyfriend. You need a boyfriend, yeah, because you think everyone else has a boyfriend. You need a boyfriend because you don't want to be lonely. You need a boyfriend because you feel like if you don't have a boyfriend that there's something wrong with you. You need a boyfriend because you don't want to be left out. So those are some of the reasons why you girls, okay, you feel like you need a boyfriend. And when you don't have a boyfriend, you feel like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with my life? What am I supposed to do with my time? Who am I supposed to talk to? And that's not a reason why you should actually stay in a relationship, and that's not a reason why you should actually even need to be in a relationship. And that part there is probably one of the wants. That's why I want to be in a relationship because I then have someone to talk to. And not just because you're girlfriends, because hey, you know what? Girlfriends can be backstabbing, ruthless, relentless, and not very nice to be around. And girls can be scandalous, can't they? And that's your best friend. All that stuff I just talked about, sometimes you consider that girl to be your best friend, even though those are the character traits of that person. And hey, it might be even the character traits of yourself. And you don't generally always confide in that so called best friend because you don't really trust them, do you? And you don't trust them with the things that you want to share all the time about this guy you want to maybe date. You want him to be your boyfriend. And a lot of times, maybe you don't because then what? What is she going to do? Come right along, backstab you, and then become his girlfriend. And like I said, and then I can be sometimes what? Your best friend doing that stuff to you. So yeah, maybe you need a new best friend, don't you? Yeah, you do. Okay. So girls, another reason the I need a boyfriend and the I want a boyfriend. The sometimes, like I said, you want a boyfriend because you want someone to actually talk to. You want them to be in your life like that because guys will tend to what listen to girls, don't they? And girls tend to, yeah, listen to guys. And that's why the friendship is there because you go to them and they can be a really good friend because they're going to listen to you differently than what the guy on guy friend will be because guys, and you can let me know, okay, in comments here, all right, just about what I just talked about girls backstabbing and being scandalous, and then that, oh my gosh, is your best friend. Let me know even this, what I'm about to say here is guys don't always, pour their heart out, do they, to one another. They're rough, they're tough, they're punching each other, all those things. And even if they aren't that way, and it still doesn't mean that they just pour their heart out to each other. You girls will tend to pour your heart out to each other, but not always trusting that person with what you just poured your heart out to them with. Okay, so hey, let me know in the comments here if what I just said is accurate, if it's true, or if no, Shawna, you are totally way off. Because guess what? I would truly love to know your thoughts and your response. So, girls, again, sometimes you will want the boyfriend because, again, you want someone to talk to, right? And even though that guy can just be your friend, but sometimes you know what? You want the boyfriend for that reason. Another reason why that you would want a boyfriend is because you want someone to get you out of your house. You have like almost the excuse, the reason why you don't want to be home or to stay home. Because maybe your home life isn't that great. And maybe your home life is a place that you cannot truly wait to get away from and out of. So then you stay gone. You don't want to be there because things in your home just, it's not that wonderful of a place to be. And, hey, and I'm sorry for you if that is the case. I truly am sorry for you. But sometimes teenagers will make their home out to be something that it's not. All right. Now, hey, I'm not saying that's the case for you because sometimes that really is the case that your home life really is crappy and your parents aren't really, plugged into your life and you really just want someone to talk to. That is one of the reasons why girls will then what turn to guys. Because here's another thing, okay? The reason why girls will then seek out a boyfriend is because their dad is not in the picture. And again, that's probably, when I just said one of the number one reasons why you will, girls, go to a guy in wanting a relationship is because you don't have your dad around. And even if your dad is around and he is in your life, sometimes there is no relationship there. He might be home every single day. He might pick you up from practice. He might take you places, but sometimes there's that doesn't mean that you have a relationship with your dad. So that's sometimes the reason why you feel, you know what, you need a boyfriend is because there is no connection with a, and I won't say necessarily say man, okay? Because you should not be seeking out a man, all right? So when I'm saying like a guy, okay, girls, you should not be seeking out like a man that is older than a high school student. All right. Now that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying a man. Now the guys, you are becoming men. Right? Right. You should be. Okay. So you're going to be older someday and your maturity, your level of how you live life changes where you're not going to always be living your life, guys, as a high school student. Right? Hopefully not. Okay. And that should not be your aspiration in life that you don't want to grow up, which there's a lot of guys, people. I'm not just saying guys, but people in general. They don't want to grow up. They don't want to be adulting. And it's really hard and difficult for them. And sometimes, yeah, it can be really hard and difficult, but you cannot live your life being that of a high school student all the time and having that mentality. Okay. And sometimes the reason why you stay there in that mentality as an adult is because of trauma in your life and it has kept you there at that age. So, what I'm talking about today is the reason why girls would want to have a boyfriend they would feel like they need to have this boyfriend in their life. And sometimes that right there, trauma, things that have happened is because they want to get away. So then they rush off and they go to this guy so that he can protect them. Because the role of a guy too, in another show that I was talking about guys and how they treat girls, but a role, and I'm actually going to talk about this later, okay, in another show. I got all these shows, don't I, that are just piling up inside my head that I'm going to be giving them out to you. So you just keep holding on. You just keep listening here because they are there, okay, and you are about to be show bombarded here. So that's good. But guys, you need to be protecting her, protecting your girlfriend, and even if she's not your girlfriend, your role as a guy, okay, like I said, I'm going to talk about this way in depth in another show, okay? It's just not today, but I'm giving you a little bit of a taste right here for another show that I'm about to be giving. All right. So, the guy, your role is to, yes, protect, okay? Whether it's your sister, whether it's your cousin, whether it even, hey, your neighbor, all right? The fact is, it's a female. It doesn't even matter in that instant that who it is. It's just the fact that it's a female around you and things that are happening. And this is one of the reasons why girls will go and want this relationship, the need to, because she has that desire within herself. Okay. Hey, I'm not saying that's bad, to be protected. And guys, that is what your role is. You should be protecting her, not just because she's vulnerable and now you're just going to be having sex with her because you just bring your cute little self over here, little lady, and I'll protect you. All right. No. Okay. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking actual real protection. How about protecting her from guys like that? All right. So that's one of the reasons why a girl will want this boyfriend, will so-called need this boyfriend, because of protection. And that's a lot of it. That is very subconscious for her. She's not even realizing that she might want that or even need it in some cases. And hey, guys, and if you know of a situation like that, there's things that are going on in her home that you know shouldn't be going on. Okay, you definitely need to take that to an adult that you can trust. And that is the best way to help her. Don't try to fix it and make it right for her when you do not have the means to do that. So you definitely need to go find someone, go to an adult, like I said, you can trust and help her out in that way, which is going to be way better than what you could do. I'm not saying that you are incapable of helping and doing stuff, but sometimes there's things that need to totally be given to an adult that has the maturity, okay, of knowing what to do. So sometimes, again, girls, you know what? She needs and wants this relationship, has to be in a relationship and wants to be with the guy. And she can never be single because when she's single, then sometimes when she thinks of herself as alone, then nobody wants to be with me. And what's wrong with me? And those are not, those are statements that are not true. All right, ladies, if you feel like that because you don't have a relationship, you don't have a boyfriend, and you feel like no one wants to date you, hey, okay, now I'm not saying this so I could hurt your feelings. That might be true. Okay. Maybe no one does want to date you, but you know what? That might not be a bad thing because look at the people around you and even on your social media. What is the caliber of guys that you are associated with? And how are you? Because what kind of girlfriend are you going to be? Right? When you do date someone, what kind of person are you going to be? Yeah? Huh? See, you need to answer that question for yourself even. When I, get with a guy, this is who I want to be. This is what I want to do. These are the things that uh, I pride myself in. Um, this is my standard. These are my boundaries. These are my guidelines. All right. Because so many times girls will have these standards, and then once they get in a relationship, it's like, oh yeah, here was their standard way up here, and then suddenly they get in a relationship and there's no standard at all. They suddenly just like, oh my gosh, oh okay, look, this guy, look at him, oh he likes me and he's just so cute, and I just want to be with him and I just want to give him everything that he wants. And then you do, and then you're like, what the heck, why did I just do that? And then you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and then you're mad at yourself and you wonder why you did, and you say, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. And then you like break up with him, and then he sends you a snap and you're like, oh, okay, well, he just wants to come over for a little bit. Yeah, sure he does, doesn't he? Because it's a little bit is all it takes, isn't it? And you give in and you give in and you give in. And then, you know what? The relationship is not really what your standard was. And you compromised it. And your self esteem is extra low because you wish you would not have done that. And now you stay in this unhealthy, chaotic, crazy relationship that you never thought you'd really be in until now that you are in, and you don't let it go because you don't feel like you can. And one of the reasons why it is like that is because sex, generally, when it's like that, has entered into the relationship. And you may have been thinking, well, you know what? I'm not going to have sex until I'm married. I'm not going to do that. But then, you know what? See, you lowered your standard and you did it anyway because hormones are real, baby. And that's what makes the baby. So remember that because it's true. Okay. So girls, you don't need to have a boyfriend to have an identity. You don't need to have a relationship to know who you are. Okay. That does not, and that should not be something that you want to have so desperately that you are willing to do whatever you got to do to have a boyfriend in your life. Okay. So you know what? Go to the mirror. You might want to just even put this show on pause for whatever length of time, or you know what? I'm sure you have your cell phone right in your hand. Put the show on pause, and then you know what? I'm not saying take a selfie, all right? Because I'm sure you have plenty of those already. This is not about you taking a selfie. This is just about you looking in either to the camera, to the mirror, and just looking at yourself, okay? And not in the sense of anything except for, you know what, taking a nice little deep breath, just looking at yourself and just saying, you know what, I am worth a really good guy. I really am. I am okay to be single. I am beautiful. I am healthy. I am strong. I am going to forgive myself for compromising my values. I'm going to raise the bar back to my standard of what I had. And you know what? Maybe you don't even have a standard. You can contact me because you're teenagers and you're going to know how to contact me. And you know what? I can help you out with that. All right. So I'll just give you a little bit of some guidelines with that. And that when I'm saying a standard, you might not even know what I'm even talking about. But what are your values? What are your standards? When you get in a relationship, what do you want to do? What do you want to not do? That's where your standard comes in, okay? I don't want to what? I do want to. I'm okay if I do what? These things. But in the midst of you having a standard, what are your values? You really need to seriously get solid in that. So when you are with a guy and whether he's your boyfriend or not, you're going to know like, okay, you know what? He's trying to push me into compromising who I am. He's trying to push me into compromising what I stand for. So, are you going to stand for that? And just because he's a hottie, he's a cutie, and holy smokes, look at him, that should not be your standard. That when that guy comes to want to be your boyfriend, that you're just going to let, phew, okay, everything, just fall to the wayside. Because I guarantee you, you're going to look back and you're going to be really, really mad at yourself and wish that you would not have. And you know what? Those things you cannot take back. There's a lot of, I wish I would not have done, you cannot take back. So, girls, that's what I want you to do. Okay. So, after you even watch this, I want you to get a pen and paper. All right. Regardless of you being able to read it, if it's legible, you know what? Because I know sometimes your handwriting is much to be desired. But you know what? It's okay because this doesn't mean that you're showing everybody what you're about to do here. Okay. But you're going to go get a pen, a paper, go get some colored ink. Okay. Because I got to tell you, I love colored ink. It's so amazing. And I love using different colors of ink. So just wanted to throw that out there. So just get some paper and then you're going to write down the kind of guy that you're looking for. No, you're going to write down who you want to be. All right. So this is regardless of you being in a relationship, okay? Because at some point, all right, whether you're in a relationship or not right now, because you might not be in a relationship. And again, do not be sad about that. Don't be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm such a loser and nobody wants to date me and I just can't believe it. And you're just in a almost, depression. Don't be. Do not be. Okay? Because it's not like you're 70 years old and you've never had a boyfriend and now you don't know what to do. All right? You're a teenager. So you're still young and there is plenty of time for you to have a relationship. And you want to have a good relationship. All right. So when you do get this boyfriend in your life, now that you're listening to this, like why I feel I need a boyfriend, why I feel I want a boyfriend. So now that you've heard some of these things, you've listened to this show, you can, you know what, definitely go back to this a few times over if you need to. Definitely share this with a few friends. And now you're going to, okay, you've already looked in the mirror and maybe you need to do that again after a few times. And you might need to do that a few more times, looking in the mirror and then, just looking in the mirror and not, again, not trying to fix your hair and, oh my gosh, I need some makeup on and look at these. I have these blemishes. You're not looking at yourself like that. You're looking past those surface things in the mirror. Okay. But you're looking at who you are. The makeup, the fake eyelashes, the mascara, the lip gloss, all of those things, okay, does not make you who you are. Those things do not make you beautiful. You inside reflecting out, that's where your beauty comes from. So many girls totally think that that's where their beauty comes from. What they're wearing, that makes them beautiful. Even though you can see like a little girl, okay, who has this pretty dress on, and what does she start doing? She starts spinning around, and I'm talking like a 3-year-old. She has that dress on and she's spinning and she's spinning, and she just feels so pretty because of what she's wearing. But that's not where the beauty comes from. The dress is beautiful. Oh my gosh, look how pretty that dress is. And so many people will say that to her. You look so beautiful. They're talking about is the dress that is beautiful. You are not the dress. You are not the makeup. You are not those things. Okay. Who are you on the inside? Who do you want to be? You need to build yourself up with who you are and your security of who you are, not focusing on your insecurity, because that's one of the reasons why you want and need this boyfriend is because of your insecurities. And you just think that's going to help you with the insecurity when in turn, no, most of the time does not. Because now you're jealous of your friends. Are they talking to your boyfriend? And what are they saying? Do they like him? So, because all these things just start racing through your mind because of your own insecurities. You want to look like everybody else. You want to dress like everybody else. You want to wear the same makeup as everybody else. You want to be like everybody else. But who are you? That's the purpose of you going and looking into the mirror. Who are you? Look beyond those things and start searching down into your heart, and not this type of like, well, you got to follow your heart and just go date whoever because you got to follow your heart. No. Okay, because your heart, you know what, is misleading. And our heart is what leads us into places that, wow, you know what, I followed my heart and I wish I would not have. So don't do that because that's not what you're doing here. Okay, you're going to get the pen and paper, pencil, whatever it is you want to write with, and you're going to write down when I get in this relationship, or even this, the relationship that I'm in, here's things I'm going to stop doing. What are those things? That's if you were in a relationship. These are things I want to stop doing. Now, before you even get in a relationship, here's what I'm going to be when I am in a relationship. All right. That's kind of two different lists because if you're dating already, all right, it's already too late to be saying, well, here's what I'm going to do in a relationship. Well, because you're in one already. So now if you are in a relationship, that's what you're going to do. Write down, here's the things that I don't want to do in the relationship anymore. Now I'm talking about you as your character. Okay. I'm talking about you as who you are. This is not about the guy. All right. This is about who you want to be. Now, what are your standards in now that you are dating? Because if it has become to where your relationship has, pretty much been now about sex. And now you're going to say, well, you know what, in this relationship that I'm in, that's one of the things I'm going to stop doing is, you know what, I'm not going to have sex anymore. First of all, when you tell the guy that, you need to plan on, possibly him breaking up with you, okay, which might not be a bad thing, or that he gets really mad or he's like, "What the heck? What are you talking about? Why aren't we gonna have sex anymore? You've been doing it this long, so what's stopping you now?" So, what is stopping you now? So that's something you need to answer. If he gets so like mad and then wants to break up with you, then that is your clue that he only was in the relationship for sex with you, all right? So that's how you're gonna know. And this is one of the reasons why girls will not do that because I don't want him to break up with me. Well, why not? Well, because I love him. Do you? Does sex equal love? Does it? No. No, it does not, does it? So, you need to think about that, okay? Because, hey, you can have sex with anybody, can't you? Does it mean you love everybody that you're having sex with? Probably not. Dogs have sex, don't they? So, sex does not equal love. And just because you have sex with somebody does not mean you love them. I'm still going to do a show on this, and I'm going to also still do a show on love, what love really is, right? So I'm still going to do a show on that also. So, girls, write these things down. The reason why is because it just is going to help you know who you want to be. Because maybe you lost yourself because you just have been in all these different relationships. Maybe you never really did know who you are, but this is going to help you to know who you are. So when you do get in relationship, these are the things I want to do. These are the things I am not going to do. These are the things that I am not going to compromise. And what are those things that you are not going to compromise? The guy that you are with, almost to be with, talking to, he starts to push you to compromise those things. What are you willing to do? Stay with him, let him do that because what? We show people how to treat us, don't we? So when you don't say, no, you know what? I can't do this. I can't be in a relationship with you because you are not respecting. See, that's key word. That's a good word. You're not respecting my decisions, what I want for myself. And it's okay to break up. Okay. So if he is respecting you and he's like, okay, you said you don't want to have sex anymore. All right. Well, I'm a little bit annoyed with that, but all right. If that's what you want, then okay. Okay. But then, okay, if he starts to pressure you for that, what are you willing to do? Are you going to just accidentally have your clothes fall off? Or are you going to be like, hey, remember when I said I'm not going to do that anymore? I really meant it. Because he might just be trying to see if you really meant it. Okay. Because so many times, girls, you say things and you don't follow through with those things. You have a standard, but then you don't follow and keep your standard. You have boundaries, but then you don't stay true to your boundaries. So you need to decide now in advance, okay? Or if you're dating somebody now, what do you want? What do you want to do? And then you talk to your boyfriend. So if you are with a boyfriend and you do this because something within you, you know what, is just pulling at your heart, not the follow my heart, but there's a difference there. Okay. Because like I said, your heart will lead you astray. Your heart will take you down a path that you're like, holy crap, heart. What was that all about? So it's not follow your heart, but sometimes your conscience, okay, is telling you this is not a good thing. This is not a place you should be. You need to put the brakes and turn around, go somewhere else. So if you write these things down and you're in a relationship, yeah, you know what? Talk to your boyfriend about it, okay? And if he's a really good guy, you know what? He's going to listen to you, isn't he? So that's what you want to do. Because remember, the purpose of dating is what? Everybody now is to get married. You date who you marry. That is what tends to happen. So you want to date the right person so you can marry the right person. Don't just compromise and then end up in a situation that you wish you would not have done and been in, and too late now. And that's just the way your life is. And now you have to settle. So don't even do that to yourself. All right. You don't have to show everybody this list. Okay. This can be something for yourself. If you want to show somebody that you trust, hey, if it's your mom, you want to show your mom and even your dad, it's okay to do that because you trust them and because you know that they are going to be alongside of you and maybe even help you out here. Right. If it's your parent, then you then your parent's going to be encouraging you to be that person who you wrote on this list, who you want to be when you get in a relationship. So your parent then is going to be with you and on your side for this. So that's a good thing. But if you just want to keep it and look at it every now and then, you know what? That's all right too. So it's totally your decision and how you want to handle it. Or you know what? You can share it with me too. And I would love to see it. So, girls, guys, Teens, as you're watching the show, I hope it's given you some things to think about, given you some guidelines as to what you would want to do in a relationship. Maybe this gave you some triggers. Maybe this gave you some aha moments like, wow, I never thought about that. Oh my golly, Shauna, that is so true. That is one of the reasons why. So some of the stuff, it might be something that processes in your mind a little bit later. And then you get like these, what? Hey, it is true because as you go through a few days, some weeks, and then you start seeing what I'm talking about come to reality or come to life, then that's where some triggers like, oh, what Shauna just said a couple weeks ago in this show, it's true. My golly, hey, that's the point. Okay. I hope so. And you can let me know that in comments. I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will see you in the next Talking to Teen.